Talk Rugby podcast. As you've been aware, rugby is happening everywhere.
Abel Musoke, who completes his tackle. Magomu, yet again, finds Angulo! And the offload is complete! The intercept goes to Paul Masandi! He will run!
That should be it! Oh! That should be it! Oh my God, Nabiliango College! Very...
Welcome to this interview. My name is Joseph Dungu. With me is the CEO of Uganda Rugby, Mr. Olinga Ramsey. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Joseph. I'm happy to be here. It's been a while since I last came to this show, so grateful to have me here again.
Yes. How's your life been, Ramsey, without rugby?
It's been difficult for us who are full-time in rugby. It's been difficult to be off rugby for a whole year, from March to March. So staying home has been a difficult one, but we're happy to be back first, family, in what we like doing.
Yeah, so I guess you're very excited with the resumption of rugby on Saturday. Is that so?
Naturally so. I mean, it's what we do. We're here to do rugby, so definitely we're happy that rugby is finally resuming after a whole year of absence. We are grateful for the government to allow the sports to come back.
Yes. So 6th March is the date set for the return of play, and it's a Saturday. So how did you, as the union or a body, come up with that date?
Our rugby leagues are governed by largely the 15th season is governed by the internationals that we play. Internationals we play. World Rugby has two windows for 15s, international windows. One is in June and July. The other one is in October and November. So you must have completed your domestic season by, latest May, so that you can have your national teams going into the June and July window for international rugby. And our season normally starts in November to be able to complete by that window. So the fact that I missed the November window means that we have to play on one leg. That means we could only begin latest 6th of March to be able to finish games before the international window starts.
So when is the when is the international window likely to start?
It always starts in June. And ends in July. So even this year, it will start in June.
So there is Elgon Cup this year?
Yeah, the Elgon Cup is going to be played. We're still working out the exact dates, but we have in principle agreed on to play the first leg in June. But we shall agree on the exact date as soon as the Kenyan league also starts. They've had a slow start as well, but they're also beginning fully now.
Okay, so for the time allocated for the preparations, I guess you made the communication for the teams to start preparing at the end of January. Is that so? Yes. So do you think that time has been adequate enough for the teams to prepare for the return of play, or do you think it was short, or do you think they deserved more time?
We're dealing with a strange situation. It's never happened before, so we've had to make so many adjustments as a sport to be able to start the sport again. So the clubs have had to make some concessions in terms of how long they prepare, and we believe that given a normal situation, they would have prepared for much longer. But this is something unique to us, so everyone is being hit. But that said, we met with all the clubs and we discussed the start date, and they're okay with it because everyone is hit the same. And last week again we checked on the clubs just to see how far they are going and to see if they are getting ready. And all the clubs agreed that we should start as scheduled because we have to start.
Okay, so who are the representatives of these clubs you agreed with?
We meet with our club chairman, and if the chairman is unable to come, then the chairman sends a representative from the club.
Okay.
But it's at the highest level normally.
Okay. So what's the name of this competition? I decline to call it a league. I'm not so sure. What's the name of the competition starting on 6th March?
One is a league, because a league is a situation where you play each other, and then there's no knockout. Once you go into knockout, then it becomes a cup. So this is still a league because we're playing each other, at least. But that's because we're playing each other once. So it is still a league anyway.
Okay. So do you have any sponsors on board for this league? And because ideally I would expect the teams to walk away, the winning team to walk away with a reward, a prize or something like that.
The sponsor for the last league, as you're aware, was a Nile Special Stout. We've had some, but the contract had expired at the end of last season. So we've had a long discussion with them, and we hope before Friday we shall have finalized. But right now it's very positive that they will come back as our sponsors.
So you're not yet sure by Friday. So Friday is the deadline.
We're sure that they will come back. It's just now the announcement and the details of what is involved in the sponsorship. But we are close to finalizing all those issues.
Okay, that sounds great. Then I would like us to address this issue of communication. There seems to be a communications gap between what the union wants to inform the rugby fans and all the stakeholders and what it actually does on their social media platforms, because the communication is a bit slow, because usually during the period of lockdown, some players went ahead to always request the union to update them about the status of rugby, much as you're also answerable to higher authorities, maybe like the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports. I guess you've had a very slow connection and response on your social media platforms, engagement, timely updates. So going forward, what's your plan to address that?
Like I said earlier, we're dealing with something very unique, so we're careful about what we put out there. We're careful about what we say without consulting the ministry and the government. So, unlike that time, we've had to be extremely cautious on how we say things to the public. But that said, now that the league is resuming and the SOPs are out there and every club knows what to do, at least now it's all systems go.
Yeah. So how are you going to keep tracking these players? Because recently you carried out COVID tests, and I must say that was very, very, very good. It was a very huge step. So how are you going to keep that whole system running? Because these players are going to play for a period of a month plus, I guess. They're going to play a whole lot of 9 games. Those are 9 weekends. So what's the plan of keeping the largely, as you're aware, each club is responsible for their players. So the owners should have been on the clubs initially to even test the players before they start. But we took it upon ourselves, the union, to take that step so that they can start. Now, largely the clubs, because each club has appointed a COVID manager. Each club has one, so they're supposed to monitor their players every time they come for training, before they leave training sessions, what happens at the sessions. So as a union, we cannot go and monitor each of the players in each of the clubs during the sessions, and that will be done by the clubs. What we do is that we have a COVID-19 manager for the union, yes, who liaises with all the club managers every week to just assess how the players are. Yes. Okay, so about the league, still I would like to take you back a little about the other question. So if now Special Stout is coming back on board, what's the sponsorship plan? What are you agreeing to? Can you quantify their help?
No, we cannot. Like I said earlier, we have not yet agreed a few details. So right now I don't have, I cannot tell you what we haven't agreed on yet. So you will know in due course.
All right. So last season we had the winner for the league, and that was the Kima Cement Heathens then. And during that league, there was no relegation done. and there was no promotion done from the championship side. Because if we declare a winner, I guess we are usually supposed to relegate, because in that situation, Shell Rimula Rhinos were supposed to be relegated, right? Because they were the bottom team. Then the top team in the championship was supposed to come up. That was not done. Why?
I think we explained this numerous times in our communication. We said that there was the last team in the Premiership, because all the games were completed equally. Each team had played the same number of games in the Premiership, but then down in the Championship we had imbalances. There was no winner in the Central region, as where Box and Stallions had not played the same number of games. And there was no winner in the West, so we couldn't hold what they call a championship, where the winners come together and play to get a winner.
Yes.
So there was no winner for the championship. So there was no one to promote.
Okay, that's understood. And then about this league we are resuming on Saturday, I see some teams have more home games, meaning that others will be away for most of their games. Why is that so? How did you come to that?
There are 10 teams, meaning there are 9 games, so we cannot have the same number of games home and away. It's either 5 or 4, so there's that imbalance always.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some teams had to go with whatever was decided.
Yeah, I mean, you either get 4 home games or 5 home games. You cannot get both.
Okay, perfect. So the 7th team has been training for a while. I guess they even started training. They started their training before the league training was starting to resume, and for the teams and all, they went for a trip and camp in Kapchora. Got back. They've been to Jinja recently, about 3 weeks or so before. What's the plan in the 7th camp?
The 7th team, they're having a very unique season. They have qualifiers for the Olympics, the last chance of qualifiers for Olympics in June. So their preparations have to be a bit different, because as you realize, the world had moved on, whether with or without COVID. They had already moved on. Other teams in the world were already training, so they said they'll go on with the tournament whether we're there or we're not there. So naturally we had to find a way of resuming. So yeah, they have done some sessions. I must say they are not yet adequate. They are still struggling a bit, but we hope that before the end of May they will have had a few more camps, maybe 1 or 2 international camps, if you can get them, and I give them the best chance at qualifying for the Olympics.
That's by the end of May.
Yeah, because the tournament is in June anyway. The qualifiers are in June, so preparations have to end of May. All preparations. So we're hoping to give them a few more camps just to get them together. As you know, nowadays with the COVID around, it's easier to have camps, so that you can have a bubble for the players to are training well. Yes, so it's the best thing. Also, we're having camps in around the area, just to avoid them shuttling around from home to sessions. It's easier to just have them in one place for 1 week, and they're more focused, and then they're in a COVID bubble.
All right. So what's their roadmap leading to the qualifiers? Do they have any games to play within the region or on an international level before they go for the qualifiers in June?
Yeah, we shall be announcing in the next week or so. We're trying to talk to some regions to see if we can send the team there, and they have some camps and some tournaments.
East African regions?
Yeah, Africa region.
Africa.
Even beyond, if possible. So we shall have an announcement hopefully before the end of next week.
The under 20, they played the Baths tournament in 2019, yes, and did not make it to the Tier 1A, I think, for the competition that was supposed to be held in Kenya, but now has been postponed for a bit. What's the plan for Uganda?
The fixtures came out from Rugby Africa this year, and again our team is not participating in that routine this year. So naturally, we're trying to look at options of having them play. So we have engaged Kenya Rugby and see if we can have them play 1 or 2 games during the Elgon Cup, with the Kenyan under 20 team. So that's our best shot of having them play this year.
So have you tried to gather the boys or try to scout, source them, get to know who will play when? Because most of the boys who played the other Baths tournament in 2019 have now, for example, Sempeke, they have now surpassed the under 20 age cap. So
most of these boys, as you know, schools rugby is not happening now, and because most of the school children are still at home. So most of these boys are going to come from the second division, the regionals, the tennis tournament is going to happen.
Championship.
Yeah, going to happen. So that's where we shall get most of the players from once those games start.
All right. So what's the plan for those going to play tennis in the championship?
They'll play again, like we said earlier in our competition. They'll play 3 tournaments in each region, and it's just for them to return to play. Basically, it's not for competition. It's just to bring them back into the game and make sure that we don't lose those players. So this year for us, basically rugby is for us just to return to play. To
return to play.
Yeah.
Don't you think you've been slowed down because one of your strategies and targets was to get more people into the sport, and as we are in this COVID situation, we are looking at survival and first retaining the numbers we have and quality, right, to get people back into play. So don't you think your strategy, say for the term you're going to be in office, or for the yearly strategy you'd put, don't you think you're going to be slowed down a bit, and how do you plan to address that?
Obviously, we have lost the whole year in terms of targets for our numbers, in terms of targets for the schools playing, in terms of clubs, in terms of improving the commercial. So obviously, and the world understands everyone has been hit uniquely. So it's just about how soon you come back on your feet. So it's not something that is unique to us. It has happened across the world. So everyone is now getting back to, first of all, to get back to play, and then refocus. After that, what do you want to focus on? Is it just playing, or is it going back to growing the sport at the lower division? You know, schools are still closed. We can't even do much there in any way. So we're still hit differently in different countries. But we shall get there as soon as all systems are now open.
That's true, because I guess it's already a big stride for us to have rugby returning already, and I know very many people are waiting. People can't wait to go to their favorite hangouts, or even follow on social media what really happened, the scores and updates. So after these 9 games, this league we are having, what's the plan? What will happen next? What's the likely plan? Because you may not commit yourself to what's going to happen next, but what's the likely plan after the 9 games?
Well, we sent out to all the clubs. We sent them and all the secretaries. We sent them an activity plan for the year, and it shows clearly after the league. Next most likely is the international break, which is about a month and a half. So after that, then we're going to the sevens. Okay. And then the Uganda Cup. So it's just the whole plan.
That's pretty beautiful, because we're having the normal setup we're used to. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the things we've picked from this interview, the sponsor is not yet confirmed, but there are talks. Then the return is going to be a bit slow, but steady, and yeah, we all hope for the best. Thank you, Mr. Ramsey Olinga, for being part of this Kratos interview. We urge you to check out our Kratos shop for gym equipment, your rugby merchandise, jerseys, be it for the adults and children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you all.
Cheers.